Hey, what's going on, True Blazer fans? It's Tori, and I'm back with another player analysis. Now, we're rounding out the bench. We have 3 more bench players left before we start getting into the player analysis videos for the starters. So if you've enjoyed this series, make sure to leave a like down below and subscribe if you haven't already done so. I'm going to start trying to roll these out very rapidly over the next week or two, as we've had a little bit of a layoff here in the past week, but I definitely want to ramp up the content as we ramp up to the Portland Trail Blazer season. As I'm recording this on September 13th, we only have 16 days until there's a Blazer game, which is going to be awesome. And then we got Fan Fest on September 30th, and I'm going to try and vlog that, and I'm going to try and sit courtside first row. So I'm going to be out there early creating a vlog for you guys, so hopefully you enjoy that as well. Stay tuned for that. And I'm just really excited with where this channel is heading, as well as some of the content I have for you guys coming up in the next couple of weeks. Follow us on Twitter at TrueBlazerFan, and me personally at TorJonesYT. And with all that being said, let's jump into the player analysis for E.T. Evan Turner. The biggest black mark on Portland's bloated payroll, Evan Turner is a defining figure of the tragic summer of 2016 for Neil Olshey. During his 2 years in a Portland Trail Blazer uniform, Evan Turner has been a big disappointment. But the disappointment hasn't been due to his play, as it started when he first applied ink to his contract. Nobody really expected this to turn out too well, and it definitely hasn't. So that leaves me in a position where I have to make a player analysis video on Evan Turner, while trying to be as optimistic as reasonably possible, but also giving my honest opinion. If you can't already tell, that's going to be very, very tough. So I guess what we can quickly do is go over the things that Evan Turner doesn't do well. He doesn't shoot well from three-point land, at the rim, or mid-range. He likes to shoot too many mid-range shots, which are basically the worst shot in basketball. It's a good shot if you can knock them down, but if not, it's the lowest percentage two-pointer. You don't get that extra point, so it's really not a great shot. But Evan Turner doesn't seem to realize that. He's an overrated ball handler and an overrated passer. Brad Stevens made him look much better in that area in Boston than he actually is. I also think he's a very overrated defender, and we'll get into that. Okay, now let's quickly go through the things that I think he does well. And that pretty much sums it up. Anyway, I think the idea with the signing of Evan Turner was to give Damon CJ another playmaker, a guy that could allow him to play a little bit more off the ball, and a guy that could distribute for them. The problem with that thinking, however, is that Evan Turner can't play off the ball when they have the ball. And you're not going to put the ball in Evan Turner's hands more than Damian Lillard's and CJ McCollum's. So more often than not, he's going to be playing off the ball, and when he's off the ball, he's hurting the team. The other mistake with that is, even with the ball, he's not able to be that Draymond Green type of facilitator. First, because he can't even shoot like Draymond. Second, he's just nowhere near the level of passer that Draymond is. I know Evan Turner might look like a good ball handler, but a lot of his moves are straight lateral. He doesn't really beat guys going to the rim. And honestly, that could be because he's not quick enough. That could be because his moves are lateral, but it's probably because guys are sagging off him so much because they want him shooting the three because he's not a good shooter. Evan Turner makes a little bit of sense in an up-tempo offense, maybe handling the ball in the open court and being able to distribute to guys or attack the rim where he doesn't have a defender set up immediately in front of him. But Portland has one of the slowest offenses in the league. Some people would claim Evan Turner's a good post-up player, but I see too many mid-range fadeaways coming out of that area, which just aren't efficient shots. And it's not like he's LaMarcus Aldridge where he's knocking down 50% of them. He's not. Some would say he had some success in Boston. I just think Brad Stevens made him an average player, and with an average player, you will get some good outings here and there. But Brad Stevens is known to make players look a lot better than they are. Think about Isaiah Thomas with the rest of his career and then his tenure in Boston. Even Avery Bradley has struggled once he's left Boston. Jay Crowder is another guy who's only been really, really good in Boston, where he was a great 3-and-D player, but everywhere else, he's struggled. I mean, look what they've done to a guy like Aaron Baines, who now looks like one of the best backup centers in the league. I honestly think Brad Stevens is the second best coach in the league. behind Greg Popovich, of course, which, if you know, with the San Antonio Spurs, a lot of their players were a lot worse outside of that organization. And now you're starting to see the same thing show up with Brad Stevens and the Boston Celtics, and Evan Turner is just another example. When they had Evan Turner, they used him a lot in the high post, you know, kind of like the Portland Trailblazers used Mason Plumlee as a distributor there that could also shoot a little bit from there. Of course, Evan Turner likes to shoot a lot more mid-range than Mason Plumlee. That wasn't really Plum's shot, but they could kind of orchestrate out of that spot on the floor and attack the rim if they really had an opportunity to. Portland has not used Evan Turner in that fashion at all. They've used him as strictly a perimeter player, and he's a guy who does not play well on the perimeter, and they've used him as a post-up player, and he's not a guy who should be posting up. So I don't really know how else to break it down other than Evan Turner's not a good player, and I honestly hope a guy like Gary Trent is able to take his minutes this year, because Gary Trent, I honestly think he could be better next year, and he definitely has a lot more upside. Now lastly, Evan Turner's defense, I think, is severely overrated. I think that people overrate his defense because there's optimists out there that want to see something good in his game, that want to explain why he's on the court, and they will tout his defense. Yes, he has good defensive outings here and there, but I've seen him get burned one too many times by guys like James Harden and Paul George. Evan Turner doesn't have a long wingspan for his height. I believe it's a 6'8" wingspan to go with a 6'7" player, which is pretty short. And then he's also not the quickest laterally, so he gets burned very, very easily. Mo Harkless is 5 times the defender Evan Turner is. And that's just based off me watching Evan Turner defend, man. Like, when I watch games, yes, I watch it because I'm a fan, but I also try to look for things that other people might not. Since a lot of people watch the ball, if James Harden drives to the rim and scores, all they see is James Harden driving to the rim and scoring. But there is a defensive breakdown somewhere, and usually I try and look for stuff like that. Obviously, without being able to point out specific film clips, it's just all words coming from me, but based off studying Evan Turner a lot last year on the defensive end, I think he's severely overrated. Anyway, True Blazer fans, let me know what you think about Evan Turner and his next 2 years here in a Portland Trail Blazer uniform, because it's very unlikely that we're going to be able to trade that contract. As I've said before, I don't want them to attach a pick in order to trade that contract because it doesn't really get us anywhere and then we lose out on a prospect, but I just hope he falls out of the rotation this year. Try to keep the comments somewhat civil. Let me know if you agree in terms of his deficiencies. Let me know if you think we should try and attach a pick to trade him. Or let me know if you disagree and you think that I'm underrating him in a certain aspect of his game. Let me know, if you were the head coach, if you would play Gary Trent ahead of Evan Turner. Also, for next week's Monday mailbag, I do want a few questions for that. So if you have a Monday mailbag question, make sure to leave a question down below. I released a mailbag a couple days ago, but I forgot to ask you guys for more questions. So any video that you ever see, you can leave a question on it because I'm doing mailbags every single week, and I will take questions from any video. So if you have a question, leave it down below. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown. I'm out of here. Have a great day, True Blazer fans. Peace out. Go Blazers.